Riders, welcome back to the channel. Today is a very special day. I'm going to be test riding the 2021 Trail 125. The best part about it is that this trail over here is going to be my very own. As you guys know, the Trail 125 has been a very sought after motorcycle, and it's going to be one that's going to be Honda has had a really hard time getting it here statewide just because of the supply chain issues and whatnot. But I was able to score one, so here we have it, guys. So as you see, this is going to be your Trail 125. This is going to be 17-inch wheel tires in the front. It's going to be the same thing for the back. You get 3.9 inches of clearance in the front. I got to say, Honda did a great job adding the fork boots over here. In the back, you have 3.4. So again, not a whole lot of clearance. One thing that you're going to notice right off the bat with the Trail 125 is going to be you get this high exhaust here. This is what basically makes this motorcycle, the Trail, what it is. You also get the ability to do kickstart. So your battery dies, you're out in the wilderness, you have a kickstart that you're able to go ahead and kick that engine over. More importantly, the Trail has a rack. This is going to be what has made the Trail famous for. These trails, this rack back here is known for basically you're able to hold deer, hold game, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be a little bit over 18 inches long, 16 inches wide. Then if you come over here on the other side of the motorcycle, you're going to be able to see this is going to be a 4-speed semi-automatic transmission. So this is going to be foot heel shifting. So the shifting first gear is always going to be up. So there's no downshifting unless you're going to be going back to neutral. So 1, 2, 3, 4, they're all going to be going up. So then another feature that the CT125 has, you're going to have a side stand and you're going to have a center stand. So again, let's say you get a flat, you're doing chain maintenance, having that center stand right here is going to make it key. Ground clearance, you get 6.5 inches of ground clearance. So, not too shabby, but nothing too crazy. Honda did a great job. And I got to say, I actually like this very much. So as you see, you're going to get a single disc on the other side, but Honda, they actually give you that illusion that you have kind of that drum brake. So as you can see here, you kind of feel that you have that drum brake. So the Trail 125 is going to be ABS only in the front tire. I gotta say, Honda did a great job when it comes to that. So yes, you're gonna be able to see here, it's gonna say ABS, single disc, it's gonna be dual piston, single piston in the back. The reason Honda did that was they're able to actually, when you're doing some off-roading, it's going to be a lot better. You're not going to have that rear tire, especially if you're trying to brake or anything like that, kind of getting loose on you. So that's a great feature. The one that we have here, I bought this one with 44 miles. So basically a brand new motorcycle. They added this rack over here. That was an addition. So let's go ahead and take it for a spin. One thing that you want to notice is, and I just want to go ahead and cycle the engine so you hear. Listen to this engine and exhaust. I mean, listen to how quiet this is. We're literally going to stand right behind the motorcycle. I mean, you can barely hear this motorcycle being on. So I love that about the motorcycle, that how quiet it is. The Honda Trail 125 is going to be one of the motorcycles in Honda lineup that they're called Mini Moto. That basically is going to be, you're going to have the Honda Grom, you're going to have the Honda Monkey, which is going to be one of their classics being brought back. You have the Super Cup, and then you have the Trail 125. All of them share the same platform, the same 125cc engine, with the only difference being that you have the Trail and the Super Cup. Those are going to have the 4-speed semi-automatic transmissions. The Grom and the Super Cup, now for 2022, they went ahead and they upgraded from a 4-speed transmission. Now they actually have a 5-speed transmission. From what I understand, that makes it makes top speed a little bit better. You get better economy just because of that extra gear added. So being a semi-automatic transmission like the one we have right now, the Trail 125, you're going to notice there's going to be no lever here on your left handlebar. So it's all going to be controlled through your foot. So basically there's going to be a clutch in the inside of the transmission. So it's going to be a centrifugal clutch. So basically when you're either doing heel shifting or you're doing your toe shifting, there's going to be a centrifugal clutch inside that as you're pressing the shifter either up or down, the clutch engages, and then you're able to move to the next speed. So it engages, and as long as you keep your lever engage, you're going to be in neutral. As long as you let it go, you're going to go ahead and engage into the next gear, or you're going to go ahead and engage, you know, either to a lower or higher gear, as you know, as you desire. So the Trail 125, it's rated at 7.9 horsepower. You're going to have 7.4 foot-pound of torque, and it weighs 259 pounds. So it's going to be an extremely light motorcycle for today's market. It's still going to be about 40 pounds heavier than its predecessor, the CT110, but you still get a very nimble motorcycle. And one thing that's going to stand out is going to be its economy. The CT125 has a rated MPG of 133 miles per gallon. You have a 1.4 gallon tank. So, you know, give or take, you're going to be able to travel around 150 miles before you're able to go ahead and need to refill. So as you see, this is going to be a completely electronic display. I have to be honest, I'm a little disappointed just of how dark it is. I have yet to ride the motorcycle at night, so I couldn't tell you how it is at night, but I got to tell you, during the day, this is barely visible. I mean, if you literally get hit at the right light, either shade or whatever you want to call it, it's honestly almost not visible at all. So one thing that I hope that Honda is able to improve maybe for the 2023 model, as I understand the 2022 is going to be basically the same color, same everything. So something that Honda, I think, should definitely improve. So on the left handlebar, you're going to be able to see, you're going to have your turning signals, you're going to have your horn, you're going to have your high beam. So there's not going to be no flashing beam like fly hashing beam like some of the other motorcycles. This is going to be just basically, you know, stay and go. And as you're able to see down here, if we put it on the high beam, it's going to go ahead and stay right there. As far as going through your display, you only have total miles, you have your trip A and B, and that's it. You don't have anything more than that. You're going to have an ABS display. The ABS display is going to be it's going to go ahead and go away once you start riding the motorcycle around 10 miles an hour. The ABS is going to go ahead and stop flashing. So I think that's a great feature. It lets you know the ABS is working, and that it's gonna head and it's engaged. So on the right handlebar, you're gonna be able to see that you have your cycle the ignition to go ahead and turn your motorcycle on, and then you have your ignition to either have it on and off. So as far as the CT125 goes, it's a very basic motorcycle. At a starting price of $38.99, I think Honda, you know, hit it out of the park. You have a very basic engine. However, you get a lot of value for what you're getting. You get a center stand that is not going to be found on your Super Cup 125. That's going to be specific to the Trail 125. From what I understand, you're able to add it, but that's going to be an extra versus having to be a standard feature on your Trail 125. So the Trail 125 has 17-inch wheels. Those are going to be tube tires. So again, it's going to be a lot harder to do a roadside repair if you have tubes. So, you know, if you end up getting one of these motorcycles, make sure that you carry a kit with you. That way, if you happen to have a flat, then you know what to do. I've read some complaints of people basically complaining of the lack of keyless ignition as you will find on the Super Cup 125. To me, honestly, I think that's one of the best things they did. If you notice, the Super Cup is going to be a motorcycle that's going to be rated more for your city, you know, city cruising, versus the Trail 125, which is going to be rated for, you know, off-roading, light trails, taking it off the beaten path. So when you have the keyless ignition, let's say your battery dies, guess what? You are literally shit out of luck. You have to literally go through all these different like codes to be able to go ahead and get through your battery and all that, which you got to do with the Super Cup. Guess what? You don't got to do none of that. You have literally a standard key that all you're gonna have to do is put your key in and just get going. One great thing about the Trail is going to be the weight. The 259 pounds, honestly guys, it feels so light that honestly I think anybody is able to enjoy the motorcycle. So one of the key features of the Trail 125 is going to be just how light it is. At 259 pounds, is going to make the Trail 125 very easy to get on and off the motorcycle. It's also going to make it easier for shorter riders. You have a 31.6-inch seat height. And one interesting feature about the Trail 125, and you could also say the Super Cup, there's going to be the step-through design. Being step-through is going to make it even easier for shorter riders to be able to get on the motorcycle. As you're able to see here, in this one we have a rack, but typically there wouldn't be anything here, so that is going to be basically just how you're going to be able to hop on your motorcycle. When you buy a Trail 125, you're buying the Trail 125. Basically, a lot of people are going to buy it for nostalgia. One thing that you got to think when you're buying the Trail 125 is you got to realize what you're buying. A lot of people are buying the Trail 125 and they're expecting to get a fast motorcycle. They want to get from point A to point B quick. Guess what? That's not the motorcycle. This is meant to go slow, enjoy the scenery, smell the flowers, be one basically with the road, with nature. That's what the Trail 125 does. Then if you want to take it on light trails, you're able to do that. So I mean, that's the purpose of the motorcycle. One thing that I've noticed is you're able so the rear rack is rated at 40 pounds, but from what I understand, those racks are able to withstand a lot more weight than the 40 pounds per factory specification. So I've noticed some riders that actually adding either the Givi or Happy Trails 58-liter top case in the back, and honestly, from what I understand, everybody says from reading the forums that it actually fits very nice, and you actually don't notice that much weight back there. So that's a feature if you're looking to have your Trail 125 taking for long distance. There's going to be a small toolkit on your left side of your motorcycle right above the chain guard. So that's one thing that I wish Honda would have changed or would have added for the Trail 125. I wish they would have added the original auxiliary tank, because that would have given it a more retro look. One thing that Honda knocked out of the park is going to be just how similar it looks to the Trail, to the CT110 from back in the 70s and 80s. Honestly, it looks like a carbon copy, and it's one of those things that I gotta say, it looks unbelievable. The trail, the way the lines flow, everything flows, everything looks like if you were riding a Trail 110. One thing to note on the Trail 125 is it's going to be 49.4 inches long. That's going to be the wheelbase, and when you compare that to the Trail 110, the original trail, the Trail 90 or the Trail 110, it's only going to be half an inch longer. So when you think about that, Honda did a great job in basically keeping all the dimensions basically fairly similar. That way you didn't have this behemoth of a motorcycle with that very with a tiny little engine. I gotta say, the Trail 125 gives you the idea that you're able to take on this adventures that you perhaps cannot take. That would be my only downside. I mean, you feel like you're able to conquer the world. I mean, you want to go ahead and go places, you want to take it places. I love the way the Trail 125 rides. I bought the Trail 125 with the intention of just having a around town cruiser, some light off-roading, some fire roads, and that's why I bought the motorcycle. One thing that I wish Honda would have done was, if you look here at the speedometer here, obviously it's going to be all electronic, but I like the way that Honda did it with the Super Cup, where you have a gear indicator. I think they probably could have been able to add a gear indicator here. I believe you're able to get that with an aftermarket one, but that's not a big of a deal. I just wish it would have just come standard like it does on the Super Cup, the 125. So guys, so what do I think of the Trail 125? Honestly, if you're looking for a light flickable motorcycle, it's going to be, I mean, you can't go wrong. If you're looking for the ease of not having a clutch, obviously, I mean, you can't go wrong either. Now you're able to get probably some of the same riding maybe with the Super Cup, but if I feel like you get more clearance with your trail. As you know, the Super Cup has those leg shields, which is going to go ahead and make it a little bit harder if you're a tall person. So The Trail 125 is going to be good if you're, you know, a new rider. I think it's going to be even better if you're an experienced rider, because I believe that's when you're able to enjoy things most better. For example, for me, I've been riding now for a little bit over 8 years, and guess what? I now enjoy little bikes that I'm able to actually maximize the riding, versus having a fast bike, you know, going slow. I like to have a slow bike like the one we have right now to go fast. It's not going to be a speed demon by any measure. From what I understand, they do 50 to 55 miles an hour, so you know, not much different perhaps than your Super Cup. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. This is, for me, it's going to be more of an owner's review, just because I'm going to be, you know, I'm going to keep reviewing and talking about the Trail 125 as, you know, the time comes. So if you did enjoy this type of content, just give it a thumbs up. That way the algorithm knows it's good, and I will see you guys on my next video.